G'day, this is Mike Smith for Xiaomi Websites. This video is the second in a short series of online tutorials for the Jacobs Well Environmental Education Centre website operation. In the previous video we looked at logging in and a couple of aspects to do with posts and also editing content on posts such as text, pictures, and also embedding videos from YouTube. Some of that applies to pages as well, but in this video I'm going to concentrate on pages, adding a new page and reflecting the new page in the menu structure. So let's get started. Okay, in the previous series you may recall when we were discussing posts, on this particular website if we add a new post, depending on the category that we allocate to that post, the link to the post will appear in this right hand portion of pages over here. This right hand portion of the page is actually called a sidebar, and later on in this series of videos we'll describe how to control that. But essentially this sidebar appears on all, if not most, if not all pages at this point. The actual content of a page is this area here. Below the title is the content area, and in this area you can have text, a little bit of formatting, buttons and some images. So the page content actually does not include this area above, the slider here, and the menu and the header and the footer are actually controlled separately. So when we're talking about a page, we actually mean the page title and the content in this main area. Okay, now to make this very clear, let's have a look at this home page. This is the home page, and if we are logged in, we'll see the browser bar at the top here. Okay, and there's a link, as you may notice, to edit the page. Now I'm going to be very careful not to make any changes to this home page, but I will press this or click on this edit page link, and we will be taken to an edit screen. Okay, now there's a few things here which I will just ignore for now, but what I want you to focus on is the page title and this content area here. Okay, so that's the area generally that you're going to be working with when you create and edit a page. As you can see, there are some other tools here, but we're going to touch on those a little bit later on. They are to do with the theme, in fact. Okay, so I'm not going to make any changes, but if I were to make a change, then I would press the update button on the right hand side here to save those changes. The other thing that you may notice on the right hand side, as different from posts in the previous video, there is no category area here, although depending on certain plugins that can be added to this website, we can certainly add categories here, but by default there are no categories here. And also there is a control for a template here, which is not visible for posts. So pages and posts are a little different, but generally the edit screen looks similar. So mainly you're working with a title up here and the content here. That's the main difference between posts and pages. Okay, now pages are mainly intended for generally static content, and so for example the home page and other pages that contain information that won't change very much. That's the intention for pages, and for that reason they work with the menu system, and I'm going to describe that in a minute. But what will become important is this permalink for pages, because that's actually the link to the page, and the menu system works with that link. Alright, so I'm not going to update this page. I'm just going to go back to view the page here. This is the home page. All right, now let's have a look at some of these other pages here. So the menu system allows us to browse through pages on the website. Okay, so what we need to do is learn how to edit the menu, because if we add a new page, for example, underneath that is intended to be underneath programs, its link will not automatically appear here. We have to put it in through editing the menu, and that's what we're going to do next. So let's see, which one shall we choose? Let's try, okay, so let's imagine that we are going to add a page, and that page happens to be information to do with resources. So we want to add it to this part of the menu. So that's going to be our task. So before we begin adding a new page, let's just have a look at how the menu system actually works. So we go back to the dashboard here. From the front page, we can go to the dashboard. We can actually go to menus there directly, but let's just show you how to get there as per normal when the dashboard is displayed. Just waiting for that to display. Okay, so on the left hand side here, you've got a whole bunch of tools. Underneath appearance is menus. And as you can see, there's a couple of other controls here as well. Later on, we'll have a look at widgets and possibly themes as well, but it's the menus that we're interested in here. So I'm looking at menus. And while I've got this menu system open, I'm going to just open the front page again in a new tab so we can just compare. So there's, okay, so now look at this menu here. So we've got home, then about us, then programs, and then underneath about us are a bunch of other links. Underneath programs are a bunch of other links. Now back in menu, you can see the main menu here has a menu structure, and it indicates the structure that we want the menu to have. But going down corresponds to going across. Home, about us, programs, home, about us, and programs. And you can see that these boxes correspond to the sub-menu items here, and you can see that our community has a sub-menu item. So this screen allows us to edit the menu, and we can move things around. So for example, if we wanted to move these around, how to find us, who are we? At the moment, the first thing that comes up is who are we, but if we wanted to, we could move those around. Okay, and if we wanted to save that, we'd save the menu. I've restored it to the way that it was. The other thing is sub-menu items are simply drag as well. So this one here, at the moment, under community, it's a sub-menu item there. But if I were to put it at the same level as it is now, then it wouldn't be. It would actually be another item below our community. So okay, so this is all drag and drop. Very good. Now, if we want to add a new link to this menu, you can see this menu is quite long here, so it's going to be, it's easy to get a little bit lost. New links are added to the bottom, and then they're dragged to wherever you want them. So on the left hand side here, you've got pages, links, and categories. Okay, so we're mainly here focusing on pages. This most recent is useful if you've just created a new page, but it doesn't show all the pages, so you really want view all. And as you can see, there's a lot of pages here. Okay, so the idea basically is we select a page. So for example, let's say this forest page, which I know is already here, but if I press it, add to menu, it's going to be added to the bottom of the menu, and then from there I drag it around to wherever I want it to be, and then save the menu, and then that will be reflected on the menu here. Okay, I didn't save that menu, so I haven't made any changes. So that's effectively how the menu system works. You view all, select whatever page you want. Generally it'll be the most recent page you've just created, and then you press add to menu. That will end up as a link at the bottom of the menu, and there you just drag it to wherever you want it to be. Okay, and then press save menu. If you want to remove a link, you can press on this down arrow here, which gives you access to a couple of controls, one of which is the remove. That doesn't delete the page, it just deletes the link to the page on the menu. And then press save menu again. Alright, so now I haven't made any changes to this menu, so I'm just going to go back to menus again and just reload this page so it reflects the actual website. Okay, so that menu there is what is displayed on the home page. So that's a very short introduction to WordPress menus. Next we'll add a page, and we'll see that appear on our menu system. Okay, so let's have a look at adding a new page. Oh, by the way, I almost forgot. I just wanted to point out something here. Back on the menu page, right at the bottom, you see there are this control here, automatically add new top level pages to this menu. Almost never would you have that selected because it's very rare that as soon as you create a new page you actually want it to appear on the menu system, and that's what that would do. So always deselect this on all websites. Generally you want to play with the page, check it that it's okay, and then when you're ready, add it to the menu. Right, so a new page. So if we want to add a new page, we can do it from the browser bar up here, add a new page. We can do it from within pages, add new page. We can do it if we're logged in, obviously. We can do it from any page, in fact, because we have access to this browser bar. So let's do that. Let's add a new page. And when I do this, I'm going to make sure that it doesn't interfere with the existing website. Okay, so here we are at the edit screen, and similar to posts in the previous video, and also we're not going to muck about with these controls here. That's a little bit more advanced. In general, we are interested in the title. The title is important for the permalink, and then maybe some text, and we could add a picture. We can play with the formatting of the text a little bit, and we can also embed a video as we did for the post as well. So let's do this. So we'll call this a new page. All right, I'm going to click out here, and as you can see, permalink is being created for this page as soon as I click out of the title. Now we can actually edit this. In fact, I notice that there's a slight problem here with the permalink setup on this website, and I'll address that separately, but I'm not going to go into detail right now. Mainly we want to set a title, and then we want to write some text here. So I'll just add some text, a couple of lines, and maybe we could do bullet point here like that. And then maybe add an image. I'll just choose one of the images, the boat that we were looking at before. Again, perhaps changing the alignment and the size, making sure that it's not too big and not too small. Insert that into this page. And as before, if we wanted to add embed a video from YouTube, we would change to text mode here. We're not going to do that right now. And then we would publish this page. And this is quite safe to do because no one's going to be able to find this page unless we create a link to it from the menu. So let's publish this page. Okay, that's published now. All right, now we can view the page. We can view there's a link here and here and here. I'm going to keep this edit screen open and then open this page in a new browser tab up here. Okay, so remember, as I said before, all we did was we added a title and we added a little bit of text and an image. And the template takes care of everything else. Oh, I better get rid of that post again. So, so that's pretty straightforward. There isn't a link to this new page in the menu until we create it, and that's what we'll do next. Okay, now here we are with our new page that we've just created. And now I've done this in a specific order because I want to point something out. So we edited the page and then I viewed the page in a new browser tab. And so now I want to add it to the menu. And you may recall I've got in another tab over here the menu structure open here. But I just wanted to demonstrate that if you work this way, the new page will not be listed here because we had this menu display page open before we actually created the new page. Now, the reason I point that out, it might seem really obvious, but a lot of people get really confused with that. So all I need to do is just load this page again, click on menu, and now you can see that new page is at the top. So now, as I demonstrated before, we select that, we add it to the menu, and then we scroll down to the bottom, and there it is there. And let's say we wanted to add that to, what did we say before? Oh, let's make it easy. Let's just add this new page to the bottom of the photo gallery. Now I'm going to get rid of this very quickly. All right, so there it is at the bottom of the photo gallery. That won't be visible until we save the menu. So I'm going to save the menu here, click there, and then I'm going to demonstrate again. If I go now to a page that I had already loaded, that's not going to be reflected. That change is not going to be reflected in the photo gallery. I need to refresh this page. So just remember that when you're changing menu items and adding pages and such, you do need to refresh the page to see changes reflected. So now in photo gallery, we can see new page at the bottom there, and that will just take us back to this page again. Okay, and as I mentioned before as well, if we want to remove that menu link to new page, where is it? Wow, this menu is really big. Click on this down arrow, remove. That does not delete the page still exists, it's just a link to that page on the navigation menu. Save the menu. Taking a little while to save here. You can see that it's doing something. Okay, so let's just check. Photo gallery, yep, okay, that item is no longer there. But again, we need to refresh this page or move to a new page so that the navigation menu is actually updated. So let's do that. Update this page. And as you can see, our new page actually still exists, but there is no longer a link to it anywhere. So this is it. This is a useful thing to know. You can create a page and you can actually copy the link to that page, copy that link, and you could email that link to someone and they could look at that page. But anyone else browsing the website would find it very difficult to know that that page even exists. So this is a useful thing for special pages that are only for perhaps certain people to look at, or landing pages that you don't want to be permanently in your menu system. That doesn't make it secret. There are other ways of making it secret. Over here you've got visibility controls, public, private, and password protected. They're slightly different things, but in summary, you create a new page and then you create a link to that page in the menu system. Okay, so that's adding a new page, and the page is still there, but it's no longer in the menu. Okay, that's great.